Hi everybody, I'm Rhiannon from the Epsom Bakehouse, and I'm discussing today how you can stop your dough spreading out when it rises before you bake it. And if you'd like some more bread making tips like this, recipes and information about my online bread making classes, which you can join and learn step by step to bake a whole range of breads with me, then you can click the link below this live and sign up for my regular email newsletter. So today, perhaps you've baked bread at home, and instead of it turning out into a well-risen loaf, in fact, what you've baked is something flat and dense. And you're thinking, why on earth did that dough spread out? So today, I just want to talk to you a little bit more about how you can prevent that and make sure you get a well-risen loaf of bread. So certainly, the thing that is really key to this is shaping your dough. And shaping your dough creates some tension in your dough. So here I've got some dough that has just been rising, and I've cut it into two pieces. And you can see when it's cut into two pieces, why can't I just put that onto the baking tray? Why can't I just put it into the loaf tin? Why can't you just do that and have it rise into a well-risen loaf? Well, you can see where it's been cut through. There are kind of holes in it. The dough is already spreading just by me holding it. It doesn't have any tension in it. And what's going to happen when that dough rises is that the dough is not going to contain the gas that's being created by the yeast, and it's not going to form a smooth surface over the outside of the dough that's going to contain that gas and allow the dough to fill out like a balloon being blown up into that well-risen loaf. It also might mean that if you're not shaping the dough correctly, as well as it's spreading, it may crack and burst through as it's baking in the oven because there are weaknesses in the dough. So what can you do instead to stop your dough spreading as it rises? Well, first and foremost, check that you've got the right quantities in your dough. So by that I mean you have a dough that's not too wet, it's not going to stick. You can see that these are not just spreading out all over the bench. So have the right quantities of flour, water, salt and yeast, but especially flour and water in your dough. Nothing too dry, it should still be a sticky dough, but your dough should be able to be shaped. So that is first and foremost. And then you're going to want to think about how you shape your dough, so building up that tension. And the key to that is this elasticity of the dough, which comes from the gluten. You can see it's really stretchy. So you can actually stretch it out and then fold it in over on itself so that you build up tension and the dough starts to hold its shape. So make sure that when you're shaping your dough, you're creating that tension, and by folding that up, turning it over, you get that much smoother side of your dough. No holes for the gas to escape through and no cracks in it, so that when your dough is baking, it holds its shape and it doesn't burst through and go into a flat puddle rather than that well-risen loaf that you are hoping for. Lastly, you can also use a bread making tin if your dough is really wet and sticky and you want something that will contain the dough. So that is another possibility, but you can also, if you shape your dough correctly, put it onto a baking tray. So that was my tips for how to prevent your dough spreading as it bakes and making sure you get a well-risen loaf at the end rather than something flat and dense that you perhaps don't want to eat. If you'd like more bread making tips, then as said, you can sign up for my regular email newsletter by clicking the link below this live. And if you've got any other bread making tips that you would want answered, then please do leave a comment. I love to hear from you. Or if you've used this tip and you're enjoying baking bread at home, then please do let me know. I love to hear from you. Otherwise, I'll see you again soon for another bread making tip live.